get through it. We almost did it.
Chic featuring Nile Rodgers, I'll be there. It's Time 106.6. Sports Zone through the afternoon, and the Rugby Force weekend well underway at Slough Rugby Club, along with others across the country as they spruce up their clubhouses ready for the new season, but also to get them ready to watch the World Cup of 2015. Are England going to do it like they did in 2003? So I think that's a question I'm going to have to put straight away to the man that was involved in that 2003 win over Australia. And it's good afternoon to Lewis Moody.
Good afternoon, how you doing?
Good, Lewis. Let's just quickly go back to 2003. You were a replacement for that game. I wonder whether you were thinking, am I actually going to get any action in this?
Do you know what, when you're a substitute and you're watching a game, you're a bundle of nerves or just desperate to get on the pitch, and then actually as the game goes further and it gets closer and closer and there's only a point either way, all you're thinking is, I don't want to be the person that gives away a penalty when I come on. So do I actually want to get on? But I was very fortunate, or Richard Hill was unfortunate. He got a cramp and I got on with about 10 minutes to go, and BenK ended up calling the line out to me at the tail of the line out with 2 minutes to go on the clock. And for me, having loved rugby my whole life, it was just it was a dream to get on that pitch, and it was what I'd always wanted to do. And then we ultimately went on to win it. That euphoria that comes when that final whistle goes, because it's just a realisation of all that hard work that's gone in over 4 years to realise that dream.
You say euphoria, the fact that Johnny Wilkinson did that drop goal right at the end. I mean, was that just a thing? I just can't believe that's happened.
No, do you know what? It was well planned. So in the years leading up to the World Cup, we knew what it was going to take. We knew we needed to be the best prepared, the fittest side in the world, and the coaches also, in their wisdom, went and looked at the other sports, footballs, American football, and what did it take in those final matches. What did it generally come down to? And normally it came down to a play in the last moment, a play in the last 2 minutes, and ultimately in the World Cup in 2003, that's exactly what happened. But we spent a year prior to that preparing for all those eventualities. So whether it was being 5 points down and needing a try to score with 2 minutes to go, whether it was having to defend our own goal line because we were 3 points up, whether it was not giving away a penalty, whether it was actually having to get a drop goal with 2 minutes left on the clock. So we'd rehearsed that numerous times, actually hours and hours on the training ground. So when it came to the final, actually it just became the norm, and the pressure sort of disappeared. So it may seem like maybe a bit of luck when it was watched on a day, but actually there's a lot of planning and preparation that went into it.
You can relax now, having retired in 2011, so I think you must have quite a few thoughts about 2015, England doing it again. Looking back at the autumn internationals, about sort of 50-50 on the wins there. Six Nations, they really hauled themselves back against France, a huge spirit there. Do you think that shows they've got what it takes?
Do you know, I loved that last weekend of the Six Nations, every side knowing exactly what they had to get to come away with a win, and each side almost did it, bar England just missing out in the last dying moments with a penalty, and the Chris Robshaw going up to Nigel Owens, and Nigel Owens in sort of his very enigmatic way just saying Christopher now, and Chris had to walk away. But it's one of those tournaments. England are so close now during the Six Nations. They've been runners-up on 4 occasions. Really, they could have done with taking something out of that. They could have done with a Six Nations win, a Grand Slam, to go into the World Cup with some real confidence. And so for me, they're still a little bit under par, but it's such an exciting period of time for them. A World Cup in your own backyard, so few players get to take part in that.
Just going to quickly play you something from a man you'll certainly remember, Martin Johnson, who was your coach in 2011 and your captain in 2003. He says competition for places in the World Cup squad can only benefit them, and he says he could be left with a selection headache. That's the coach, Stuart Lancaster.
There's places up for grabs, and there is, because some of those guys have been in before and done well. Other guys have come in since and done well. And there's guys in there for the first time who are going to say, hey, I can do a bit as well. And they get to play it out, and competition drives you on to improve and get better.
I don't know if you actually heard all that, Lewis, but do you agree?
Absolutely, I agree. Competition is the driving force in terms of improvement as an individual. In 2003, the guys that were ahead of me were sort of Neil Back, Richard Hill, Lawrence Dallaglio, and then there was other players like Martin Corrie, myself, Joe Worsley, all players that were having to push each other for those places, and because everyone was desperate to play, it meant that the people that were either in the ownership of the shirt at that time had to play out their skins to retain the shirt, because they were fearful of the guys coming up. It just drives that competition, it drives the performances. No one can rest on their laurels. And for me, that's why it would have been nice to have Stefan Armitage included, so that Chris Robshaw, who at the minute doesn't really have any other pressure on him from other players in that same position, I think Stefan would have offered something really unique there and pushed Chris onto even bigger and even better. But that competition with place is huge. You've got a young Cowan Dickey in the side. You've got guys like Jack Noel coming back, Johnny May, who was dropped in the Six Nations after a poor game, and all these guys will be desperate to come out and improve and impress and show Stuart Lancaster what they could do. They will be absolutely desperate to make it into that World Cup squad.
OK, let's look at what you're doing this weekend, because you were born in Ascot, to your first rugby in Bracknell, so it's a bit of a homecoming, you coming to Slough this weekend.
Yeah, it's sort of a homecoming. It's down the road. I played a few mini tournaments at Slough when I was at Bracknell, a part of their junior setup, and to come to these grassroots clubs. I now help coach Bradford on Avon, and down in Wiltshire near Bath, that's where I live, and to come back to these grassroots clubs and try and help them, I'll probably be picking up a paintbrush tomorrow and see if I can get stuck in a little bit.
That's guaranteed, you know that.
That's guaranteed, yeah. I've got my worst jeans on just in case, because my painting skills aren't the best, so I don't know what Slough are quite letting themselves in for yet. But they put forward a great proposal, and it's fantastic that they've won it. And obviously this weekend, the NatWest Rugby Force is happening all over the country, and it's just a great opportunity for clubs to make the most of the facilities that they've got, and just a great initiative by NatWest.
And there must be plenty of youngsters at Slough and all the others that must be wanting to do what you've done and get playing for England. So I guess this grassroots is very important.
It's absolutely where it starts, isn't it? Any international started at a mini rugby club somewhere around the country. For me it was Bracknell. For some of the new generations, it could well be Slough. Why not? Everyone has to start somewhere. So to go back and to be able to give back is something that I feel very privileged to be able to do. I had a wonderful career, and to be able to go back and support clubs like Slough, support the young children that are coming through, really try and motivate them and inspire them. Why is rugby such a great sport to get involved with? Really spread the word and spread the love of the game, and hopefully with the World Cup, just round the corner now, that's just going to continue and continue and continue. And as long as we can get England to do as well as they physically can, if we can get them out of the pool stage against Wales and Australia and get them into the quarter-final with just all the energy around the country, certainly driving into Twickenham if you're a player on that bus will just be breathtaking, and something that I would have absolutely loved to have done, having played in the World Cup in your own backyard. So these guys have something special.
We are running out of time, I'm afraid, Lewis, but just picking up the point about the World Cup, it is being suggested it could earn more money than the London Olympics. I mean, that puts the sport in a very good standing, I'd have thought.
Well, that's a very interesting stat. Obviously more and more nations are taking up rugby. I think there's a lot of countries coming over for the tournament itself, and money within the game is growing. TV rights, more and more people are getting interest in it. The Sevens now going into the Olympics as well in 2016. That's growing. The women's side of the game is growing. More countries. It's not just the New Zealands. It's not just England. Now more and more sides are pushing. And so, for me, it's just wonderful to hear that. I think also it's important for us, I think, as a country to welcome all these sides over. I know my club down in Bradford on Avon are getting quite excited about choosing one of the minnow nations to support during the tournament as well. So it's an exciting period of time, and just great for everyone to get involved in the game.
I know Slough are working hard this afternoon, getting their clubhouse ready. You're going to be with them, about 11 o'clock tomorrow, is that right?
Yes, that's right. I'll be with them for a good few hours tomorrow, and helping out, making sure we can get everything sorted for them. Never know, might pick up a rugby ball and have a little impromptu game of touch with all the volunteers and everyone that's helping out down there, especially if the weather's like it is today. I'm just watching some cricket down at East Molesey. It is absolutely beautiful here, so a lovely day, and hopefully it'll be the same tomorrow when I'm down at Slough.
I know that they're going to be tapping you for some expert analysis as well.
Quite possibly.
Look, it's great to talk to you this afternoon. Wish us all the best for Slough, and you see them all tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Take care.
That's Lewis Moody. He's the former England rugby captain and the man involved, as you heard, back in 2003 when England won it, and Johnny Wilkinson with that drop goal as well. So if you want to go and meet Lewis, and also that they will thrust a paintbrush in your hand as well, you can guarantee it. Slough Rugby Club is on at the moment, and also tomorrow. Have a look at their website, sloughrfc.com.